Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to be guiding you through this one. Today, we're setting the stage for a truly magical adventure. We're going to unpack this incredible narrative about a young girl, an impossible library just suspended up there in the sky, and, perhaps most importantly, the profound, really transformative power of empathy. Together, we're going to break down the mechanics of a beautifully crafted story that speaks right to the very heart of human connection. It's an amazing journey of discovery, and I literally cannot wait to share it with you. Okay, let's dive into this by asking a massive, world-altering question. Ask yourself this: what would happen if every story, dream, and adventure suddenly just disappeared? I want you to really, truly imagine that for a second. A world wiped completely clean of narratives, imagination, and history. No fairy tales, no heroic epics, no bedtime stories, no grand adventures to inspire us. Zero. We are establishing the unbelievably high stakes of our narrative right here, right off the bat. Because you see, this isn't just about some lost object. It's about the potential loss of the very things that make our world vibrant and meaningful in the first place. All right, Section 1, the mysterious golden book. Let's get right into it. So our journey begins with Lily. She's this deeply curious kid living in Storybrooke, and she just loves reading about dragons and castles and faraway lands more than absolutely anything else. Well, on a perfectly ordinary, kind of rainy afternoon, she's hanging out at the Old Town Library, but hidden right behind a dusty, forgotten shelf, she discovers something completely out of place. It's a mysterious golden book, and it's actively shimmering with these beautiful silver stars. This definitely isn't just some old manuscript. I mean, it's practically vibrating with magic, just waiting to be opened. And when Lily finally gathers the courage to crack this shimmering book open, the magic is instantly unleashed. She's immediately greeted by this tiny magical paper bird that literally flies right out of the pages. The bird just chirps, "Hello, Lily. My name is Quill, and I need your help." But guys, it doesn't stop there. The golden book suddenly begins to glow super brightly, and then whoosh! This massive magical whirlwind erupts straight out of the pages, lifting Lily completely off the ground and sweeping her high up into the air. Which brings us to Section 2, Crisis at the Flying Library. Moments after being swept away, Lily arrives at this totally impossible destination. It's the Flying Library, a wondrous, crazy place floating high above the clouds on these giant golden wings, with thousands of books just drifting around like balloons. While navigating this literal paradise of literature, she meets Professor Whiskers. Now, he's a wise cat in a hat, and he's the official library keeper. But he's not exactly greeting her with a parade. Actually, he looks incredibly worried, and he delivers the catastrophic news that sets our whole plot into motion. The Great Storybook has vanished. Naturally, Lily is shocked and gasps, asking what exactly this book even is. Well, the Great Storybook isn't just any old piece of literature. It is the ultimate magical artifact. It contains every single story, dream, and adventure in our entire world. So, the crucial point is without this specific book, stories everywhere, across the whole globe, will slowly but surely begin to disappear forever. Moving right along to Section 3, a magical rescue mission. Faced with the catastrophic loss of literally all imagination, Lily knows instantly that she has to step up and help. To recover this ultimate artifact, she sets out to gather a really capable crew. First up, we've got Benny the Book Bunny, bringing his own unique skills to the table. Next is Maple the Story Owl, lending her aerial perspective and wisdom. And finally, Inky the Tiny Dragon, adding just a little bit of magical firepower to the group. Together, this wonderfully diverse team of animal friends bands together, totally united by a single purpose: search the magical realm, find the clues, and get that missing book back. And the journey they undertake, it is absolutely epic. In the first hour, they bravely cross the bridge of fairy tales. By hour 2, the crew is deep into exploring the super mysterious forest of floating pages. Moving into the third hour, the terrain shifts and they actually find themselves sailing across this vast ink river aboard giant paper boats. Finally, after this grueling, magical trek, they reach their ultimate destination at hour 4, the towering, imposing Tower of Endless Stories. They travel all the way to the very top, totally ready to confront whoever or whatever took the book. And that leads us perfectly into Section 4, the Cloud Fox's Secret. So, at the very top of the Tower of Endless Stories, the crew finally spots the missing Great Storybook. The tension is incredibly high here. We're fully expecting a grand confrontation with some terrible monster. But the reality, it's completely different. The book is actually being protected by this shy little cloud fox named Nimbus. As Lily and her crew approach, Nimbus doesn't attack or growl. Instead, he just lowers his head sadly and offers this completely heartbreaking confession. I borrowed it because I wanted my own story. He wasn't trying to destroy the world's imagination at all. He was simply feeling left out. He just desired a narrative and a place of his own in a world that is so full of wonderful tales. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast it presents. I mean, we were completely set up to expect a malicious thief, right? An antagonist trying to hoard the world's stories out of pure greed or spite. But instead, the narrative pivots brilliantly to present us with a lonely fox. It shifts our perspective entirely, forcing us, and Lily's crew, to immediately reevaluate the whole situation. It's no longer a moment for combat. It's a moment that desperately calls for understanding. And just look at how beautifully Lily and her crew respond to this revelation. We call this the empathy response. Instead of going in wands blazing or scolding Nimbus, Lily just smiles kindly and validates him, telling him that everyone has a story worth telling. Benny reassures him that he doesn't have to hide anymore. Maple spreads her wings and says they would actually love to hear his story. And Inky the Tiny Dragon enthusiastically offers him friendship. Because of its incredible, inclusive response, the sadness just melts away from Nimbus and his eyes immediately sparkle with happiness. Finally, we reach Section 5, the power of your story. With a brand new friend made and the misunderstanding completely cleared up, the entire crew makes a triumphant return to the flying library. And the very moment they place that book back on its golden stand, a massive, magical boom echoes right through the sky. Magic is fully restored to the world, triggering this glorious festival of stories. In every single corner of the globe, stories return. You can hear children laughing as brand new adventures magically appear right inside their books. And high above the clouds, the flying library is just sparkling brighter than it ever has before. It's a total, joyous celebration of imagination and belonging. Then, the very next morning, the grand adventure seems to come to a quiet end when Lily wakes up safely in her own bed back in Storybrooke. For a brief second, as anyone would, she thinks, wow, that must have all been a remarkably vivid dream. But then she looks down, and she finds physical proof, a tiny golden feather bookmark resting gently right there on her pillow. Lily smiles, knowing for an absolute fact that the flying library, her new friends, and the true power of their quest were entirely real. And this brilliantly illustrates the core takeaway of Lily's entire journey. Let's read this quote together because it's so important. Everyone has a unique story to share. When we listen to others and show kindness, we help their stories shine. This is the ultimate lesson here, guys. By choosing empathy over conflict, and by just taking the time to listen to a lonely fox who simply wanted to belong, Lily and her friends didn't just save the world's stories, they gave Nimbus a beautiful story of his very own. Which leaves us with this final, really vital question for you to consider today. Who will you share your story with? And honestly, just as importantly, who will you listen to? Because we all encounter cloud foxes in our everyday lives, right? People who might seem guarded or difficult or standoffish, but who really just need someone to kindly listen to them and offer a little bit of genuine friendship. So I challenge you to be like Lily and her crew today. Find someone, show them some real empathy, and help their story shine. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.
For more interesting videos, subscribe our YouTube channel